Does anyone have a question?
Stuart, this is Jan.
Yes, John.
You've shared the image or the experience of being with Rudy when he was so um, drained. I don't know the right word, when he was so something that all he could do was string beads.
Yeah.
And
Have you ever felt like that?
yeah, I have. And I
Uh-huh.
wondered if you could talk about that.
Well, the wonderment was that he was sitting, I walked into his gallery, he was sitting there stringing beads. And he told me, and I thought it was amazing, Stuart, this is all I'm capable of doing today. And I'm not going to force myself to get into big projects and big situations when all my energy wasn't depleted, but it was he'd been working so hard on himself that he was tired. He was just plain out tired. And the wonderment was he just accepted this. Most people, they get like that and they start beating themselves up. Why can't I do more? Why can't I? And they waste so much energy berating themselves, where he was saying, I'm capable today of stringing beads. And I completely accept it, and that's what I'm going to do. And I thought it was pretty amazing because most people I meet, when they have worked very hard and they're tired and exhausted, and and Rudy probably still had 50 projects he had to do, between running a business and teaching and everything else that he used to do. And he just said, no, this is what I'm capable of today. He completely accepted himself. I am not going to fight against God's will. God wants me to relax and to absorb everything that's happened to me over the last few days, to take it inside and to just relax and let it work on me and take me to another level of my life. And yet we all need to do something. So he decided that stringing beads was a great occupation, not going out and trying to buy another, $100,000 worth of Buddhas and Shivas and the kind of art he used to sell. He was incapable of doing that, and he accepted it. And I think most people can't accept that kind of stuff. They get guilty, they fight with themselves, they beat themselves up, they try to do the impossible when they don't have the energy to do it. Instead of just, for him, it was like going to the Bahamas. Sitting there and stringing beads was like going to the Bahamas and sitting in some lounge chair and just basking in the sun. That's what it was, a vacation. And and we all need vacations occasionally. We need to just relax. And I found that to be a very great teaching for me. Because when I was younger, if I was working hard and there's a lot of opening and my energy was being stretched to oblivion, and then I felt like that. I felt like I needed to sleep for 2 days. I would fight with myself about doing 6 more projects that I never did well because I didn't have the consciousness, the energy to do them well. Instead of relaxing and recuperating and allowing oneself, to really absorb the changes that take place in one's life. So for me, that was an amazing teaching from him. And it still is an amazing teaching for me, just to be able to relax and just sit and enjoy the moment and do whatever I'm capable of doing in that moment. And then the projects come, they always come. My God, there's never a shortage of them. But you've rebuilt yourself inside and you're capable of dealing with them instead of, functioning on tension. And that's what most people do. They function on tension. So it's like we have to learn to give ourselves a break. Vacation. We got to recoup our energy. And to me, it was amazing to see this amazing being who had so many, things in his life that he was working with, and projects and students all over the world, and meditation classes, and running his business, and, dealing with his mother, and, family, and sitting there stringing beads. And that's all I'm capable of. The next day, he was taking care of all the rest.
Thank you, Stuart.
No, it's just true, Jan. We have to understand what we are capable of doing on any given day. If you have a salary and you spend the salary in the first 4 days of the week, you got to be very careful the next 3 days. You don't have any money. You got to recoup. You're going to get another salary, and then you can spend some money. And that's just a metaphor for what Rudy was doing. Does anyone else have a question they'd like to ask?
I have a question, Stuart.
Yes.
When I'm in larger groups of people, I have trouble figuring out where I should put my attention. So I stay focused and with enough energy, and so I don't disturb anybody. And what I've been doing is just keeping it in my heart, like you've instructed. Do you have any other recommendations on that topic at all?
Look, the large group of people, you should spend time with a number of large groups of people, because they're just reminding you that you have to grow inside yourself to where you become comfortable, strong, rooted, balanced inside, in a situation where there are many people, because you're grounded inside, you can socially interact with all of them. You don't feel insecure about being there. And I think it's very important, because they are just a reminder of the growth that needs to take place inside of you. And then you do it. Then you say, okay, I need to get stronger inside. I need to get more grounded inside. I need to build a system that enables me to feel comfortable being amongst a group of people. I don't have to go hide in the corner. I don't have to go, get back in my, your apartment and womb, and, and hang out there, being afraid to go out and be with people. Those people are very good teachers for you, and they're telling you exactly what you need to do inside yourself. And then you do it. You do it in meditation class, you do it when you're on your own, you build that kind of system. And one day you're in a group of people and you feel absolutely comfortable being with them. You have the strength inside yourself to deal with all of their tension and energy, opinions, and what they say and don't say. And it no longer intimidates you.
That's helpful. I guess my question is more when I breathe in when I'm around them, because I kind of do to stay kind of centered in myself and not lose myself in the energy outside myself.
Well, yeah, you could take a few breaths inside and open, but don't sit
It's like
down and
kind of a technical Kundalini yoga question. So is it better just to keep staying here with the breathing, or should I try to inhale from them and then include that in my circuit?
no,
Or
don't
just
inhale. Look, you're not capable of
just
taking in everybody's tension. It'll destroy you. Just build
so
your
just
own inner
feeling.
life. And don't sit there and do meditation. They'll think you're nuts. Just say, okay, this is what I got to build in myself. And when I go home and I work on myself, I will build chi. I will build that power in myself that enables me to deal with all these people. And don't get into your head, I should do. I remember once, I'll never forget this as long as I live. Rudy invited Per Vilayat Khan to come and talk at his ashram. He was a great Muslim teacher, Islam. And he came and he was a wonderful man. And he gave a talk for about an hour, hour and a half. And there was a group of people sitting in the back that were making a lot of disturbance, and it was disturbing the energy in the room. And anyway, when Per Vilayat finished his talk, we went out in the hallway, and this group of people was out. There's about 4 of these people that were out there, and it looked like there was going to be a fight. It looked like it was going to get really crazy. And one of Rudy's students started doing the double breathing exercise. And Rudy said to him, this is no time for the double breathing exercise. Just relax in yourself and stay completely conscious about what is going on here, and then enable yourself to react to it. And it was incredible. Anyway, it all broke up and they left and there was no problem. But I'll never forget when he told this person that. And the second thing he should have told him is, next time you sit down and meditate, build chi, build that power in yourself. Be sure you're focused in the chakra below the navel, and be sure that you use the mind to open that chakra, and then use your breathing to expand and develop that chakra, because that's what that situation is telling you, to build that power, that chi inside. And the chi, usually, I had a friend of mine who was like a 6 black belt, big black belt guy in karate and all that martial arts. And I was walking down the street with him one day, and I said to him, I said, the greatest masters of the martial arts probably never get into a fight. And he looked at me, he started to smile, and he said, how did you know that? I said, that's true. I said, their chi is so powerful that they've worked on in their life that it really just affects the people. The people just melt around them. They can't come with them with anger, with revenge, with, any kind of nonsense like that. And he said, that's true. The greatest martial artists never get into a fight. Their chi is so powerful. And like Rudy told me, when he first went to Nityananda's ashram in Ganeshpuri, he could feel the energy of Nityananda miles away. And he had all these problems and things, and it all melted. And he just got, a garland of flowers, and he brought it and bowed down and kissed Nityananda's foot and took in the energy. This class is about building that level of chi, that level of inner strength. People's tensions dissolve around you because you have that kind of power inside yourself. And it's a power that comes with gratitude, with humility, with nonviolence. But it's so strong that people, when they, their tension falls away when they approach you. So that crowd, Eva, was teaching you that. Build chi. Build your inner life. When you meditate, be sure you're using your mind properly, you're using your breath properly, you're opening, you're developing the 3rd chakra, developing the heart center. And you'll never have trouble in a crowd,
Thank you very much, Stuart. That was a very thorough answer. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? I always used to tell people that this meditation is kind of like a martial art. I mean, we're not getting in the ring and fighting with people, but we are dealing with life. And life has a lot of tension, a lot of negativity, and we have to build a system inside that's strong enough, to be able to deal with that, to where when it comes to us, it breaks down. It breaks down. I mean, I've told you that story. Well, I'll finish up with this whole stuff. 1,000 times I've already told the story where I was in Big Indian trying to get a couple of days rest, and I was driving a tractor and cutting the grass, and the guy who was the manager of the ashram come running across the ashram, screaming at me, angry and mad and upset about. I didn't even know what he was upset about. So I stopped the tractor, I got off, and I'm standing next to him. And I knew this guy, he was a friend of mine, nose to nose. And usually I would get into a fight with somebody when that kind of energy was thrown at me. And I said to myself, Stuart, just shut your mouth, listen to him, listen to him. Get centered in yourself, listen to him. I will never forget this as long as I live. He went on for like 5-10 minutes, berating me, all the things I've done wrong. I think I was in the place 20 minutes. And after he finished, he looked at me and there were tears in his eyes and all the tension was gone. And he put his arms around my neck and gave me a huge hug and he said, thank you. Thank you. Just needed to get rid of his tension. And I think these are lessons we all have to learn in dealing with life. Never forget that. It was such a major education for me when I went through that. Thank you, he said. He had tears. I got back on the tractor, continued to cut the grass, and it was, it was an amazing day for me because I really learned something about dealing with people. Does anyone else have a question?
Stuart, Chris, could you please post that picture on your website that you showed us?
Yeah, I plan on doing that.
Thank you.
Here I am, 29 years old in Rudy's ashram. Can you see it?
Pretty much, but it would be
Rudy,
great.
see, I was a skinny guy then,
Yeah, let us know who else is in the picture.
What?
It's very echoey where I am, but who else is in that picture?
Well, there's Buford, Rudy, Wendy, a guy who I know, but I forgot his name. And then the guy who sent me the picture is this guy here. His name is Jim. He used to live on the second floor where I lived in Rudy's house. And suddenly we become friends again after 50 years. It's amazing. And this is Stuart right here, the skinny guy. And this guy I don't know who is. And this is Jack Stewart, who I haven't seen also in a very long time. Or any of these people I haven't seen in a very long time. But this was in Rudy's house, probably around 1970.
Hmm.
And I'm going to have copies of this made. If anybody wants them, they'll be available. I mean, it's incredible, it was, and I wrote Jim, I said to him, it was one of the most important periods of my life because that time I spent living in Rudy's house enabled me to begin a journey that was so remarkable called Stuart's life that I have nothing but gratitude for what I went through living there and learning and what Rudy taught me while I was there. Amazing. When he got in touch with me and he said he has this picture, he sent me this picture by email. I said, send me a copy of it, please. And this is the guy, he sent it to me. Him I remember, right here, standing next to me. A big beard. It was a very important period of my life. I remember going to Rudy and asking him if I could live in his house. And he looked at me with a smile on his face. And there was a guy there named Michael Austin. And he turned to Michael, should we let Stuart come live in the house? And then he looked at me and said, yes, you absolutely have to come. It's very important for your growth. And I remember one day, I told, I was living on the second floor. It was a 4,000 square foot loft full of really extraordinary Asian art. And that's where I was living. And one day he invited at least 10, 15 people to come live in his house, Rudy. And I was living on the second floor and I didn't even know where I had a bed anymore. I would go home and people were sleeping where I was sleeping. So I complained to him one day. I was walking down Fourth Avenue with him. Stuart, I don't have a place to sleep at night. And he points at a blade of grass growing in the sidewalk on Fourth Avenue in the crack. That blade of grass has more courage than you. That's what he said to me. I never complained to him again. But anyway, about 4 months later, he came up to me and he said, Stuart, I'm sending everybody home. I think you're going to be very happy. And I said to him, Rudy, every person who has come to live in your house has made me stronger. Every person who has come to live in your house has really given me an opportunity to grow and become more human inside myself. I said, you can invite another 20 people. I said, they have been extraordinary for me. And he said, Stuart, that's why I invited them in the first place. I needed you to grow like this. To have a teacher like that who understands things that are so profound and so remarkable. There aren't, a few of these people used to live there. The rest of them were basically students of Rudy's at the time. And I'll have pictures of this. We're going to make up a bunch of these pictures. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? So don't complain. Whatever it is you're complaining about, just make it work for you. Grow because of it. Don't complain because of it. And I don't care how much bullshit people bring to you. Just grow because of it. Make it work go deeper inside. Why did I attract this? What in me brings these people to me? What in me brings all of you to me? Sitting there open with love and gratitude. And I couldn't have done this when I was right here. It's impossible. I didn't have the chemistry inside, the openness. I hadn't worked out all those problems in myself. So don't complain about anybody. What are they teaching me? What do I need to learn from them? What do I need to grow inside myself that this energy doesn't disturb me, that these people bring? And then you realize God teaches us in so many different ways. We just have to be open to learn and to listen and to recognize that it's a higher energy that is teaching us. What do we have to do to learn from it and grow? And that's what I learned living on the second floor of Rudy's house. I really mean it. I really mean that. All those people, I finally had to make peace in myself. And I really sat down with all of them one day and I said, look, we're not here to go through all of this bullshit that people are going through here. I said, we're here to learn from Rudy. Every single one of us is here for that singular purpose. And if you recognize that, we all recognize that all this tension is going to stop up here. And it stopped. It stopped. I remember Rudy, I'm sending everyone home. Rudy, bring 20 more. They've all been good for me. They have taught me how to grow in my life. Okay, if there are no more questions, thank you. God bless you all. And there'll be meditation tomorrow at 1 o'clock, my time. And then Wednesday, there'll be a class at 7:30. Looking forward to seeing you. And God bless you all. And thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart. Good night.
Good night.